Welcome students. I am Abhijit Aher, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutics, SVKM's Institute of Pharmacy, Dhule. Today we are going to learn about displacement value calculations for the suppositories. Now let us look at the introduction. Initially, the definition of displacement values. Now, the displacement value can be defined as the volume of a drug that displaces 1 gram of suppository base. That particularly is called as a displacement value. Now, the most commonly used suppository base, as we discuss in a theory lecture, is coca butter and theobroma oil. Traditionally, the suppositories are prepared using suppositories mold, which are generally either 1 gram or 2 gram of base, or they will contain at least 1 gram or 2 gram of base. The volume of mold generally remain constant and cannot change. Whenever we add a drug to the excipient, the base of drug occupies some space of and dispenses certain quantity of base. Means whenever we are adding a drug to the base, that drug will occupy certain space in a base and it will displace some amount of base. Let me help you to understand this by reminding you a simple story that we learned in our childhood. The story is the thirsty crow and the peebles. All of you know this story. Generally, we have uh, studied that story or we have learned this story in our childhood. The thirsty crow is there, how he will drop the stones in a water or drop the pebbles in the water, and the water comes at the top to its beak. Okay. The same story will explain the concept of displacement value in the suppositories. How it is related, that we are going to look in this particular slide. Now, firstly, the story concerns a thirsty crow that comes upon a pitcher with water at the bottom beyond the reach of its beak. All of you know that this, all of you might remembering this particular story. That particular pitcher contains a water, and the beak of that particular crow cannot able to dip in this water, so he was not able to drink the water. So what he did, so after failing to push it over, the crow tried a lot and he fails many times. Then the bird drops in the pebbles by one until the water rises. The bird will start dropping a pebbles or stones in the water, and the water start rises to the top of the pitcher. Then after knowing this particular story, we'll forget the moral of the story. We are not interested today in the moral, what is the moral of story, but we'll understand the physics behind this particular all the concept. The crow is dropping the pebbles in the pitcher. Okay. Now the physics behind it, that whenever the crow adds the pebble or stones, it occupies some space and displaces the water. Means whenever this particular crow drops certain pebbles or stones in this particular water, the water will get displaces in the pitcher, and the amount of water which will get displaced, which is equal to volume of the pebble. Okay, that is particular concept of this particularly. Means the whatever the volume of that pebble or whatever the volume of that particular stone, uh, about that volume of water will get displaced from the pitcher, and that particular value is called as a displaced volume of water. Now we will correlate it with the displacement value in suppositories. Now some of the same as the crow and pebble story. Whenever we add the drug base, whenever we add the drug, the base is displaced. That is the prepared required number of suppositories. We need to calculate amount of base required. Means whenever the base is displaced, we need to calculate accurate amount of base is required to displace uh, that particular drug will displace how much quantity of base, and depending on that we need to calculate how much amount of base is required to prepare the suppositories. As we know, the base is displaced by the drug, that is the total weight of base is required less than the theoretical weight. Then In order to calculate the amount of base required, we will require displacement value of the drug, and which is widely used by the pharmacist and a suppository manufacturer to understand the amount of base required for the manufacturing of suppositories. Now, now let us look at the calculations of a displacement value of a drug. There are certain steps. Generally, we are following 5 to 6 steps for the calculation of the displacement value of drug. Now, let us look at this. Suppose we are preparing 6 suppositories. The first step, prepare and weigh 6 suppositories containing a base, means which is a we can say placebo suppositories. They are generally not contains a drug. We can denote it as A. Then second step, prepare and weigh 6 suppository containing, say we are considering here 40% of medicament. The suppository will contain 40% of your drug and you will denote it as a B. Then third step is calculate the amount of base present in the medicated suppository, and that we can calculate it. You know that in case of medicated suppository, we have added 40% of medicament, so remaining amount is of your base, so the remaining amount is 60%. So we can calculate it as 60 divided by 100 into B, that is B is nothing but the weight of 6 suppositories in a medicated suppositories, and we will denote it as a C. That is third step. Then fourth step, similarly we have calculated the amount of base in medicated suppository. Now we will calculate the amount of medicament present in medicated suppository, and which is denoted as, we know that we have used 40% of medicament. So we will say that is equal to 40 divided by 100 into B, and we will denote it as a gram. Okay, that is the fourth step. Then fifth step is calculate the amount of base displaced by the d gram of medicaments. That is, d gram means whatever we have learned it in a step number 4, d gram of medicaments, and we will denote it as a minus C grams. Then last step, the displacement value of medicament, and that we will calculate by the formula, that is displacement value of medicament is equal to D upon A minus C. Okay, this is general steps involved in a calculation of displacement value of a drugs or medicament. Now we will look certain example and we'll try to understand how to calculate the displacement value of a drug. Now, suppose this is the example. Calculate the displacement value of zinc oxide in a theobroma oil suppositories containing 40% of zinc oxide and is prepared in 1 gram mole. The weight of 8 suppositories is 11.74 gram. So, as in a previous slide, we have discussed there are 6 different steps by which we are calculating displacement value of medicament. That 6 steps we are going to follow over here. Now, the first step, we will look at the solution. The first step, weight of 8 suppositories containing theobroma oil. If we prepared 8 suppositories, that will just contain a theobroma oil. That is A. First step of our displacement value calculation is equal to 1 into 8 is equal to 8 grams. Then second step, we are calculating weight of 8 suppositories containing 40% of zinc oxide. So we can calculate it as a B, and which is given in the particular problem, that is 11.74 gram. That is total weight of medicated suppository which contains a 40% of zinc oxide. Now third step, the amount of theobroma oil present in 8 suppositories. As medicament is a 40%, so theobroma oil remain as a 60%. So 60 divided by 100 into the B, that is your total weight of medicated suppository. So the amount of theobroma oil will comes as a 7.044 gram. Then we will go for the fourth step, that is amount of medicament present in 8 suppositories. Now medicament present is a 40%, so that we can say 40 divided by 100 into 11.74, that is total weight of suppositories is equal to 4.696 gram. Okay, then fifth step we will follow, the amount of theobroma oil displaced by the 4.696 gram of medicament, that is the amount of medicament present in 8 suppositories, that is your A minus C, that is 8 minus 7.044, and that will be equal to 0.956 gram of theobromo oil displaced by the medicament, that is zinc oxide. And we will calculate now displacement value as we have seen in a previous, that is displacement value of medicament is equal to D upon A minus C is equal to 4.696, that is our D, divided by A minus C, that is our fifth step, which is 0.956, and which is equal to 4.912, which is approximately near to 5. And this is the way we calculate the displacement values for the drugs. Now this is the standard table of certain widely used medicament in the suppositories and their displacement value. Like aspirin is having displacement value of 1.1, then bismuth subgallate is having 2.7, then liquids metronidazole having 1.7, morphine hydrochloride is having 1.6. Now this is a exercise question, that is calculate the displacement value of drug of in a theobroma oil suppositories containing 30% of the drug and is prepared in 1 gram mold, and the weight of 6 suppositories is around 10.32 gram. You have to solve this, take a screenshot of this particular slide, solve this particular exercise, and we will discuss it in our tutorial lecture as a flipped classroom activity uh, on 31st of March 2022. So hope all of you have understood the concept regarding with the calculation of displacement value, what is the basics of displacement value, and remaining your queries and that all you can share on the link I have provided with you. You can share your queries for the flipped classroom activity. So thank you. Hope you understood all the things regarding this.